Welcome back to the California Conversation, and welcome to this very special bonus Christmas episode of the show. I just could not let Christmas go by without doing a more fun episode for you guys and just trying to enjoy the season with you all, because no one should be listening to me yap about politics on actual Christmas Day. So next week there is not a show, but I still wanted to make some type of Christmas content for you. So today, we are going to be going through my grown-up Christmas list for what I hope to see in California in 2026. And hopefully, you will hope and wish for the same things. And hopefully, we can rally a bunch of people to actually vote for all of these changes as well. Now, I know that there are many things that we could all hope to see in California, especially as conservatives. There's a lot of change we want to see. So I have limited myself today to just 5 quick and simple things that I wish that we could see change that I think would genuinely make life better here in the Golden State. So with that, let's get started. First up, I hope to see a Republican governor in California in 2026. Of course, what else could I hope for my very first request? For too long, California has gone down the same road of policy positions. We had the party line in terms of who is always in charge in both our legislature and, of course, as the governor. And so basically what I'm saying is we've tried Democrat governors. It has not worked. It is time for change. And I think a lot of people in California are feeling that way. Now, whether or not they'll actually shift to vote for a Republican is an entirely different story. That's an uphill battle that we are going to fight together. But regardless, it's my Christmas list. I can hope that it comes true. And so I believe that we need a governor who is going to enact real change, who's going to address all of the problems that have been created by the leadership over the past several decades in our state, and who can actually advocate for better lives for Californians here in the Golden State. Second, I wish for real public safety that is actually enforced in such a way that will promote true justice. California is very much known for crime. I don't think that that is a surprise, especially when we look at big cities like San Francisco or Los Angeles, when we talk about things like shoplifting or carjackings or homeless populations. California doesn't always feel safe. There are pockets that feel safer, and then there are big cities where you feel less than safe is how we will put it. And so I wish that we would have real public safety. We need actual policies in place that support police. Right now, we do not support our police. And so we need to support police across the entire state so that they can do their jobs, so that they can catch criminals. And then we need to support prosecutors, and we need to support the legal system to actually make sure that laws can be enforced, to make sure that criminals who are caught, criminals who are brought in, who are charged with a crime, are not able to just walk freely. And this is a big theme that we are seeing across our nation. We are seeing cries out for justice because we're seeing these stories day to day of just horrific events of women, of children, of the most vulnerable who are being harmed by often convicted felons or people who have been convicted of misdemeanors or other crimes several times and who just continue to get let out of prison, who are given short sentences, who are let out on bail, and who are able to go and repeat offending. And so what we need in California is we need stronger prison sentences. We need stronger punishments that actually deter and disincentivize crime. We need to move away from what Governor Newsom has been saying about trying to get more people out of prisons, trying to destroy prisons across California, trying to have less and less of them. And instead, we just need to be honest that when someone commits a crime, they need to be punished. They need to actually be able to be caught by police. They need to be charged with a crime, and they need to do some type of punishment. And I just want a quick note of true justice doesn't just consider the criminal. It doesn't just say, well, when we look at someone who has committed a crime, shouldn't they deserve a second chance? Shouldn't they have a prison sentence that offers some sort of restoration back into society? That's only one side of the argument. We need a justice system that also considers the victim, that considers what they have been through, and that is seeking justice for them. It is not inhumane to require punishment for crime. It considers the fact that the person who is victimized by the criminal is human and that they also deserve dignity. They deserve protection. And so my hope here in 2026 is that California would have a justice system that is firm enough to protect the innocent and that is fair enough to be worthy of our trust. Third, I wish that California would seek a greater fiscal responsibility and accountability. Oh boy, does our state spend money. When we look at the budget, constantly blown out. When we look at the deficit that we're in, we are constantly in a deficit of multi-billions of dollars. When we look at the programs that our state spends money on, they spend money like it's a water. Like, I don't understand where they think they're getting this from. And that's because it doesn't impact a lot of our politicians or our legislators or our governor. They're not spending your money and my money as though it's theirs. They're just spending it on programs that they think sound good, but that don't deliver actual, real, tangible outcomes. And so I just think of the $24 billion that was spent on homelessness. And yet we look around and homelessness has not been solved. We're looking at the $9 billion that was spent on providing free healthcare to illegal immigrants, which is just completely unfair and should be completely illegal in our state. And also the multi-billion dollar budget that is still set aside for the high-speed rail that since 2008 has yielded absolutely no results and gotten us literally nowhere. So in 2026, I hope for a state that is going to spend our money with greater transparency, greater levels of accountability, and fully take on the weight of responsibility of what it means to basically drain your constituents dry, because here they take so much of our money in taxes, and actually try to use that wisely rather than just spend it into oblivion and then continue to ask for more of our tax dollars. Fourth, I wish that our state would restore parental rights and would actually seek the well-being of children, including and especially of children in the womb. This is something I talk about so much on the show and that we have covered so much this year. There are so many bills in California that strip away rights from parents over their children. The state has acted like it is the best parent. It is the arbiter of what good parenting is. In 2026, I hope that on some level, our state will recognize it is not a parent. It is not the ultimate arbiter of what good parenting is, and that it will actually respect and it will protect the rights, the inherent rights, the God-given rights that parents have to raise their children in line with their values and belief systems. That the state would recognize that church and that community and that faith is good for children. That parents would be empowered to make the best decisions that they need to for their children. And this includes the right to life. Every single child deserves a right to live. Every single child deserves a right to grow up and to grow up with their family, to have a mother and father in the home. And that, of course, extends to children who are in the womb. California has passed some of the most radical and some of the most vicious abortion laws, and we have even enshrined them into our state's own constitution. And that does not defend the innocent. That does not defend the integrity, and it does not uphold the sanctity of human life. Instead, it treats these babies as trash and as something to be discarded. So in 2026, I hope that our state will restore the parental rights that it has taken steps to completely abolish in recent years. And I hope that it will recognize that every child is precious from the moment that they are conceived, and that our government leaders would feel a strong conviction to stand up and fight for, demand justice for these children. Fifth, I want better economic policy. I want this from the minimum wage to housing costs to the cost of goods that we buy. Everyone agrees California is dang expensive, and it is time to at least make it more reasonable here. The reason that it is super expensive is because of bad and liberal policies that have been passed, like jacking up the minimum wage into, again, oblivion. And that just creates and continues the inflationary spiral that we see that makes everything around us more expensive. They also promote policies for affordable housing, for rent limits. They cap what landlords can charge. They put restrictions and regulations on builders so that developing is extremely burdensome, extremely expensive here. And so all of that goes toward raising the housing prices. And that's why we see that housing is so expensive in California. And then on top of that, as we talked about last week, we see that they put these crazy equity requirements into things like farming, which is going to reduce the farming supply in California, make us more dependent on imports, and actually increase the prices of goods when you go to the store to buy your groceries. It's a complete mess. It is time for change. So in 2026, I want better economic policy. Okay. I don't feel like I'm asking for too much here. I want to be honest about cause and effect, about supply and demand. And I want us to actually implement policy that is going to make California more affordable for families. And so really, the overall theme in all of this, I said I'd limit to 5. This isn't a 6. This is just a theme in all 5. Really what I want to see in 2026 is honesty. I want to see politicians who are honest about the outcomes of the policy positions that they are promoting. I want to see them be honest about their intentions behind trying to push certain policy positions. I want us to all ask better questions, to demand accountability of our leaders. And when certain things don't work, I want us to be able to look at that in real life, in real time, and say, that didn't work. We need to shift approach. It is no longer the time to just continue down the path of saying words and then those words not actually doing anything. We must demand real change and real action if we actually hope to save our state. And with that, it is time for all of us to take our government so much more seriously. We are in charge of our own governance because we are the people. And in America, we get to elect our leaders. We get to vote for the policies that we want. When things don't work, we get to actually say that didn't work. And so I'm not re-electing you. I want people to be more engaged. I want them to be more passionate about the change that is possible if they get involved. That's what I have for you. That's my grown-up Christmas list for California. I wish for honesty, I wish for courage, and I wish for the type of political engagement that will actually change all of the problems that we're seeing just continue to get worse and worse here in the Golden State. So with that, I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas. And regardless of if we get any of these things on my Christmas list, I hope that in the new year, you will continue to do the work of showing up with me here week to week, to stay engaged, to be involved, and to actually try to make positive change in California for the better. Because here's the thing, Santa is certainly not bringing us any of these things. We are the ones who have to show up. We are the ones who have to ask the hard but honest questions and say the real outcomes. And we are the ones who have to build the future that we want.